Let's talk about the New Orleans Saints. Now, this is a team that had Jameis Winston as their starting quarterback for the first couple of games. Hurts is back. Then they went to Andy Dalton. They stuck with Andy Dalton ever since. And Andy Dalton, to be completely honest with you, is not a franchise quarterback. And he's not even really a stopgap quarterback. He's just a backup quarterback at best. And you also had the same question with Jameis Winston, even though Jameis Winston did look decent when he was a starter for the New Orleans Saints a year ago before he tore his ACL. The problem is with the New Orleans Saints, they have an incompetent head coach in Dennis Allen. I don't care how the late season stretches ended for Dennis Allen. He is not the right coach for this team, and I believe that he is not going to be an NFL head coach ever again. For one, Dennis Allen is a good defensive coordinator. That I can't take away from him. Defensive coach, he's one of the best defensive coaches in the league, and it translates on the field. They have the 7th best passing defense in all of football, and they've been decent against stopping the run. And they have good defensive players. You look at Tyrann Mathieu, he's been a good safety for this team. Marshon Lattimore, when he is playing, he's been a good corner. He's a franchise corner for them. And that's been one of the things as well with Dennis Allen. Before I jump to the players, he's had to deal with a lot of injuries. Michael Thomas is a guy that has missed a lot of games the last couple of years since they gave him a contract extension. You have to think sooner than later, will he be on the trade block? They'll be trying to get rid of that contract because you have a star in Chris Olave, a guy that you drafted in the first round this year. My problem with Dennis Allen is not just the injuries that he had to deal with. Any coach that has to deal with these type of injuries, they will not be successful. But he still has some good players on this team. Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill have not been utilized at all. And it's one of those things to where I look at him and Pete Carmichael and I scratch my head. And Pete Carmichael is the offensive play caller for his team. Sean Payton used Taysom Hill a lot, into where it was a running joke that he was just a Taysom Hill guy. And it showed the right things. Taysom Hill should have gotten the starting quarterback opportunity after Jameis Winston when Jameis Winston was hurt. I'm not saying that Taysom Hill is a star quarterback, but Taysom Hill is a special type of player. He's a Swiss Army knife type of player. Can play running back for you, can play tight end, can play wide receiver, can play fullback. He's just a good player. He's just a good football player. Instead, they want to use him that way. It's been a lack of his usage, and not only just that, when they did give him the ball in football games, they typically won those football games. And New Orleans Saints offense hasn't just been horrible this year. The thing is with the Saints, they lead the league in turnovers. They're unbuttoned and they're undisciplined offensively. They have legit one of the worst turnover rates in all of football. They can't hold on to the football. And dealing with the injuries that they have to deal with, I do have some sympathy for Dennis Allen. But it's showing too many of the same variables with this team that happened when he was with the coach with the Raiders years ago. It's the same thing. They're too defensive dependent. Marcus Davenport has had a down year, but he had 9 sacks last year. And you have Cameron Jordan, who is still a good player, but he is aging. They trade the first round pick to the Philadelphia Eagles to draft Trevor Penning. You better hope and pray that he can be a franchise tackle because the offensive line has been an issue. And if he can be that star tackle that they hope that he can be, they'll be on to something. If not, they are in major trouble. And they do have a cap concern going on right now with the money issues that they have. And I think getting rid of Michael Thomas will help that. When Michael Thomas was on the field this year, he was really good. The thing is, he rarely plays. Your best ability is availability, and he's rarely available. And I go back to that week 1 game to where the Saints showed a lot of fight. They beat the Atlanta Falcons by 1 and they were down majority of the game. Jameis Winston showed that he could possibly be a long-term starting quarterback for this team. Instead, it just didn't go that way. And we can go back to the first game they had against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're going down the end zone. Mark Ingram fumbles the football in the red zone. It costs them the game. And not only just that, we can go back to the game once again against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Monday night game where Tom Brady had that amazing comeback. The Saints are unbuttoned. They're not being coached properly at all by Dennis Allen, and it sucks right now. They are in a bad situation. They have a huge question mark at the quarterback position. He's a placeholder, and it seems like they have a placeholding head coach. There's too many placeholders going on with this organization. Obviously, losing Sean Payton has hurt a lot. And it seems like he's gearing up to coach in the NFL yet again. But they need to find a guy that can come in and take the bull by the horns and try to find a true successor to Sean Payton. Unfortunately, I do not believe it is Dennis Allen. I think they should have kept him in the situation that he was in, just being purely a defensive coordinator. When you look at the Saints, these boys are not dancing in the locker room. They're not happy to go out there on the field. Usually when you watch Saints games, those boys are teeing up. Instead, it's not the case anymore. It just seems like they want to get the game over with. And when they win, he goes into the locker room room. He makes these dry speeches and no one is happy. They just stand around like, okay, let's get this over with. And his game plan adjustments offensively does not work as well. And that goes down to Pete Carmichael too. When you look at the Arizona Cardinals game, and the second half, they reverted back to the same place as they did in the first half. That cost a pick sixes for Andy Dalton, and one of the pick sixes were not Andy Dalton's fault. He hit the receiver right on a slant route, and the receiver couldn't catch the football, and the guy ran, and he ran it for a pick six. Certain situations like that have been happening to this team. Some of it is just bad luck, but the other half of it is just bad coaching. We haven't seen the Saints be this bad in quite some time, and most of the reason why they're this bad is because of Dennis Allen and his coaching practices. Like I said, the defense has been good this year, but he's had good defenders. But that offense has been terrible when we talk about them not being able to take care of the football. And your defense can only do so much when you go out there and you turn the football over multiple times in the game. I think that you go out there, you try to get a brand new head coach, try to see if you can get a guy like a Coach Ryans from the San Francisco 49ers, another defensive guy, but I think he has more juice and more in depth on defense to get those guys up. You want to get a hyped up head coach that can translate on the field. They showed emotion, they showed passion, they showed grit underneath Sean Payton. They aren't showing any of that right now with Dennis Allen, and majority of it is because they don't believe in Dennis Allen. And we saw the same thing with the Raiders again. They were a team that looked depressed on the field. They couldn't take care of the football, and defensively they were good, but it takes more than just being a really good defensive coordinator to be a really good coach in the NFL. We're seeing the same thing with Todd Bowles and crew with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But let me know in the comment section how you feel about Dennis Allen. Do you think he deserves one more year? I think the end game adjustments and the clock management has hurt his chances to be a coach moving forward. Let me know that in the comment section. You're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and the last one, guys, stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching my video, guys. Peace.